What are the top 5 hottest crypto coins to buy in June and beyond? The crypto market has experienced 8 consecutive weeks of bearishness, meaning that we could be on the cusp of a bull rally or relief rally, where we unlock some of the hidden bullishness that has not been able to be exploited in the past 8 weeks. So I'm going to be presenting you with 5 cryptocurrencies that you may potentially be able to benefit from investing in for the short term, and certainly as bearishness comes back into the market, you may be able to accumulate at fantastic prices. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is the Suppoman, and you may hopefully want to consider subscribing to me on YouTube. And if you already subscribe to me, which hopefully you already are, then make sure that you follow me on Instagram. So let me just make sure that I am live and that you can hear me and everything. Yes, you can. So let me just make sure that I share this over to the people of Twitter so they are aware that I am live. The tweet has been sent and we are back. So, assuming you can all hear me, which I think that you can, I'm glad that you are all here, and let's get on with it. So, we have had 8 consecutive weeks of bearishness. It has been absolute turmoil. It's been a very burning sensation to essentially go down week after week after week, essentially from near $50,000, taking us down to $25,000, essentially a 50% retracement in just those 8 weeks, which is harsh, essentially. But now we are seeing a slight recovery. Is it likely to last? We don't know. There are 3 potential outcomes between now and the halving. So essentially, buying and dollar cost averaging in cryptocurrencies on a monthly basis seems the absolute best way to be able to exploit the money-making opportunities in cryptocurrency, because there is a lot of people that is expecting for Bitcoin to re-find this 200 weekly average, which is essentially down into the low 20s. Now, I'm going to share with you something very, very shortly, which would suggest why we shouldn't ever go down below 20,000 ever again. But before I get into that, let's just have a look and see what the state of play is at the moment. So we are currently experiencing 16 in terms of fear. So a slight recovery from where we were, nearly double where we were just over a week ago, when we were down to 8, the lowest I have actually ever seen. But we are making strides towards just normal fear, which would be 25. Now, people are saying that as Ethereum moves towards $2,000, this is just another relief rally. Now, something that's actually very, very pertinent to know about is this. So I recently showed you the 3-day death cross, which has only happened on Bitcoin 3 times. It's happened recently, and now we have got a 3-day death cross actually closing in on Ethereum. Now, when that does hit, because I imagine it's going to hit, there may be a slight summer pump, who knows, which may delay it. But however, I do foresee that within the next few weeks, we are potentially going to be having a death cross, which would take Ethereum down. Ethereum is essentially the barometer for altcoins. If Ethereum goes down due to the death cross, if it goes down to, let's say, 1,500, worst case 1,100, then we could be seeing massive bloodshed for altcoins. But at this very time, we aren't going to be talking about that, because we don't know what is going to happen next. Now, let me just share something with you. So, this is a reason why I don't really invest in Bitcoin, but at the same time, I want to show you some other data, okay? And this is halving data and how Bitcoin reacts post-halving. All right, so after the first halving, which happened all the way back in 2012, what happened is that Bitcoin actually, from the halving date, which was in November 2012, it 130x'd, going from around about $8 all the way up to $1,200. That was huge. And then there was a summer pump. So in June time, there was a summer pump. And there typically is a bit of a summer pump after we've had a drastic fall. But anyway, 130x is what Bitcoin did between the first halving and its all-time high. After the next halving, Bitcoin did a 32x. And that was where it went from its low at the last halving, which was around about $600, I want to say, and then it went all the way up to $20,000, so it 32x. Again, there was a bit of a summer pump after the massive drop. And what happened is, and what you can see here is that Bitcoin, once it actually goes past the halving and then achieves a new all-time high, it never again goes below the previous all-time high. So the previous all-time high was 1,200. When Bitcoin, after the next halving, hit its all-time high of 20k, it never refound 1,200. And similarly, back down here, back after the first halving, and then it hit its all-time high, which at the time was 1,200. It never, when it retraced down to about $200 or $160. And it never once again found the previous all-time high. So, given that every time Bitcoin experiences a new all-time high, having gone through a halving, then it should never again re-find the previous all-time high. So anyway, so after the second halving at 32x, after the third halving, it only 8x'd. So after the 20k, if you were around in 2017, after 20k, Bitcoin went down to 3,100. It then subsequently went up before the third halving. It went up to 8,000. So from 8,000 to 69,000, that was an 8x. So basically, it has gone down from a factor of 4 each time. Okay, it's gone down for a factor of 4 each time. So 130 divided by 32 essentially is just over 4. And 32 divided by 8 is 4 exactly. So with that in mind, not only should the next halving be reduced again, so essentially it would go down to, well, 4x essentially. Not only would it go down, but it should never re-find its previous all-time high of 20k. It's gone through the halving, it's achieved a new all-time high. It should never theoretically go below 20k. And if it does, essentially it's the first time Bitcoin has ever gone under its previous all-time high after the halving and a new all-time high. But what this is showing is fundamentally that Bitcoin is giving diminishing returns over time. So Bitcoin should not be exploding by multiples each and every time now. Because if this was the all-time high, then actually it dramatically shortened the explosiveness that Bitcoin has received in the past. 130x, 32x, then 8x. I was hoping that this would at least go to 100,000, which would represent over a 10x, leaving room for next halvings and next Bitcoin explosions to go beyond the 100k. But essentially, if it only 4x's after its, let's say it goes down to 20k, if it only 4x's, then essentially it would go to around about 80 to 100,000. So essentially, this isn't painting a great picture. But fundamentally, Bitcoin is not where filthy money is made. Filthy money is made in the altcoins. So, I am now going to talk about 5 cryptocurrencies. So, before I do that, let's quickly look at Luna. Okay, so we have got the new Luna coin has come out, and if you are a Binance trader or you had your Luna on Binance, then you would have noticed that your Luna essentially was out of your wallet. If you looked on your spot wallet, there was no Luna in there. It had been taken away for the airdrop of the new Luna token. So I had multiple millions because I bought Luna Classic at the low. And as a result of that, I wasn't given as much Luna as I thought I would be given. Essentially, you were airdropped it around about 1,000th of how much you had. But anyway, Luna Classic and Luna itself have actually made massive gains. So let me just have a look at Luna Classic. It did go up to, I think it was around about 0.0015. Now, I am personally surprised by what is going on with Luna. I'm surprised that it's essentially had a 7x in just the last couple of days. And the reason why is simply because I think people were front-running the Binance swap of Luna Classic to Luna, or at least the airdrop of Luna Classic to Luna. So, it's now coming down, but it surprises me that Luna has not lost the trust. Do Kwon, who I have heard is actually a very shy guy from inside sources, but basically Twitter made this alter ego take over, which basically allowed him to be a very polarizing character. It meant that a lot of people became Luna hodlers after Luna had its massive run previous to its huge crash. So Luna probably has now a bigger community than it had before, because previously when it was one of the elite layer ones, it was only available really to the elites and people who were not degens, people who were looking for good long-term investments. So now Luna has found almost a new fan base. It's hilarious. Luna has found a new fan base, and that fan base is very bullish on Luna. So actually, by acquiring a new fan base, Luna may be on the up, we don't know. Or it might just be having its narrative right now, and then eventually the kind of bullishness is going to die down. So just before I get started, let's just have a quick look and see how we're doing as far as likeage is concerned. Hardly any likes, only 54 likes. So if you could smash that like up, then that would be most appreciated. Now, before I talk about these 5 crypto coins, what I want to say is I am not a financial advisor. Talking about these coins does not constitute financial advice. It doesn't recommend you buy it, you hodl it, you sell it. It's basically my own opinion, and anything that happens as far as price predictions or everything, that is my own personal opinion and for educational purposes. So, what is the first crypto coin? The first crypto coin, which will not be a surprise at all, is Moonbeam. Moonbeam, I brought my last video out, is my #1 all-in altcoin. This is a cryptocurrency that I think has the potential to be the next Ethereum killer. Now, lots of cryptocurrencies, Luna, Cosmos, Binance Smart Chain, Cardano, Harmony, Hashgraph, all of these layer ones, which are kind of inhabit the top 100 cryptocurrencies, are all branded as Ethereum killers. Potential to supersede Ethereum as a layer 1 for the ecosystem to host metaverse, NFT, DeFi, meme coins, everything. So there is already an existing batch of hyped layer 1s, but Moonbeam at this present time is relatively unheard of to the wider market, and that reflects in its volume. It is not in the hundreds of millions, it is not in the billions, it is way down in the double-digit millions as far as volume is concerned, which shows you how early one is to this opportunity. So, Moonbeam has, ever since I brought out the video last week, it has just gone on a tear. So I brought out the video at $1.27, and then it subsequently went up to $1.55, and then only in the last 24 hours has it actually gone on to go to $1.42. It has since found some retracement, because it's uncertainty, I suppose. You don't know how long it's going to last. And as long as Bitcoin, as long as Ethereum drops a little bit, so this was near 2,000, in fact it was over 2,000 earlier, then as it drops and finds some uncertainty and people are a little bit tepid, then the altcoins go down. And of course, Moonbeam has gone down from $1.42, which was its highest in the last. But I don't really care. This is a cryptocurrency that I am looking to accumulate for the long term, prior to the halving. Once the halving happens, then I do believe we are going to see that Bitcoin is going to go up dramatically. Okay, we are going to be seeing the next wave of spikeage. So you can see here, the 20k spike back then was the biggest thing ever. Now it looks quite small compared to the next spike. And then, of course, there'll be another spike and another spike after that. And Moonbeam, I imagine, is going to be around for multiple cycles because it's building adoption now. It's new. It's not been around for very long. And only recently is Uniswap version 3 going to be deployed on Moonbeam. It had basically unanimous votes on yes, essentially to make Uniswap, which is an Ethereum-based decentralized exchange, a multi-chain decentralized exchange so that you can trade all assets. And because Moonbeam is essentially a multi-chain protocol, it allows for multiple blockchains, including Polkadot assets, to be traded on Uniswap. So this is one small step, although it's big. This is ultimately going to be one small step for Moonbeam. So Moonbeam, I think, has a very long trajectory of going up and going up dramatically and sizably over the course of next cycles. And unlike Bitcoin, which I think is going to have diminishing returns over time, because Moonbeam is essentially Bitcoin all the way down here. It's got explosive multipliers over time. It's not really experienced anything other than this current cycle. Since the last halving, it came out 2 years after the last halving. So, a year and a half after the last halving. So essentially it is new and it's got so much room to grow. And I foresee this is going to go much higher. The second altcoin, which I have recently added to my accumulation list, is Decentraland. Decentraland has had a 90% dip from its all-time high. So if we have a look and see, 81% dip from its all-time high, which was $5.90. Now, the reason why I have got this as one of my accumulations, and I'm going to be accumulating this at anything under 50 cents. I haven't bought any of this so far. So Moonbeam I have bought. So full disclosure, I have bought Moonbeam. I have not bought Decentraland yet. I am looking for this to retrace well under $1. And the reason why I'm looking to buy Decentraland is in essence because this is Facebook, or Meta, should I say, but in crypto land. So if you were looking for a diverse portfolio, you were looking to have a range of multi-narratives within your portfolio. So you're looking for layer ones, you're looking for metaverse, you're looking for DeFi and NFTs, that essentially Decentraland falls right into metaverse. This is the number one metaverse in cryptocurrency. This is essentially Facebook Meta in crypto. If Facebook Meta is something you can invest in the stock market, which it is, then Decentraland is essentially in the equivalent of investing in it in cryptocurrency terminology anyway. Now, if we have a look at the top NFTs of all time on OpenSea, then obviously we've got the mainstays of CryptoPunks, all of the kind of Bored Ape ecosystem occupying 2 to 4. Then we have got Decentraland in number 8 place. The amount of Ethereum that has been spent on Decentraland's land, shops, casinos, all sorts involving the Decentraland NFT metaverse equals over $300 million. $300 million. Unbelievable. And that is in the early stages still of Decentraland. So as metaverse becomes a big narrative in cryptocurrency, and it is a potential super trend for bullish times, then Decentraland is the number one. This is essentially the Bitcoin of metaverse. Therefore, if you can wait for it to go much, much lower, not buying out all-time highs like everybody was suggesting, I was not touching this at all-time highs. You buy this at all-time lows. So I'm waiting for this to go much, much lower. And I foresee that Decentraland is going to grow as an ecosystem anyway. You've got big blue chip, normal companies building in Decentraland, such as the likes of McDonald's, Walmart, and JP Morgan have got a banking lounge in Decentraland. So it just goes to show that Decentraland is only going to keep growing. And because this is the Bitcoin, whether or not Bitcoin is the best cryptocurrency out there, which it is by market cap, but it certainly isn't from a technological standpoint. It's good, sound money. It's got a very, very good inflation rate at 0.2% a year. Compared to when you look at fiat systems, essentially in the last couple of years, it has been upwards of 5% and recently as high as 9 or 10%. So as a result of that, Bitcoin is very sound money for the future. This is a cryptocurrency that's never going to have the inflationary properties as fiat does. Okay? But diminishing returns. However, despite the fact it's clunky technology, it's got the very slow finality, slow transactions per second, it's really seen as a store of value rather than a cryptocurrency of transactionable value, it is still the number one, and it's where the big investors like Tesla, Sun, MicroStrategy, PayPal, etc. invested large amounts into Bitcoin because it's number one and because it's the best as far as market cap is concerned. It's the most de-risked. As a result of that, with the same rationale, with Decentraland being the Bitcoin of Metaverse, if you are making a play on Metaverse in Cryptoland, Decentraland is likely to be the one that lasts. It may not be the best. There is Better, there's Solace, there's Everdome. Everdome, I think if you were looking for a more riskier play than Decentraland, is the next best one you could go for. But Decentraland is the Bitcoin. Everdome could be the Ethereum or the Cardano of Decentraland, but if you want the Bitcoin of Decentraland, it is this, and it's still in its very early stages. It's only really had its explosive growth, this explosive growth, when Facebook rebranded to Meta. But it has essentially retraced a lot of its, is retraced to under where it was this time last year. And this time last year, Meta had not even, it was an afterthought, was a pre-thought. It hadn't even started yet. So where you are buying it now is way before where it achieved its all-time, way before Metaverse was even a big thing. But I would still wait. I would wait for it to get to around about this level here, which was the pre-summer last year. Wait a minute, was it? No, it wasn't. This was before the DeFi spring last year. So this is essentially getting it right back. And I think there's going to be potential over the next 2 years to absolutely do that, if not better. Now, Decentraland actually takes me to the next one. All right, now the next one is Decentraland is built on Ethereum. And Decentraland wishes it was on a better blockchain, a faster blockchain, particularly for NFT and money transactions. Which takes me to the potential layer one that it was going to be building on, and that is a star. A star network is a competitor to Moonbeam. So if we have a look at Moonbeam, Moonbeam is 360 million market cap with 43 million volume, and a star is 217 million market cap, which is 100 million less. And it's got the same volume, exactly the same volume. It is essentially a Polkadot parachain. It scales up Ethereum and it scales up Polkadot. So it's got very, very similar attributes. And it is multi-chain. It's multi-chain and EVM compatible, just like Moonbeam. So this is almost like you could almost combine Moonbeam and a star and almost bet on both of them and see how both of them kind of go in a horse race. I think that Moonbeam has got the adoption on its side. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be like Polygon, where it's going to build an ecosystem and it's going to develop faster network effect. Look, it's already got this partnership. Whereas with a star, everybody voted no, so they obviously didn't see, the Decentraland community obviously didn't see much value in a star at that time. But a star have got potential, big potential, and it is a low cap. Anything below 250 million is a low cap, which means it's high risk, but it's an educated risk, whereas microcap is pretty much very, very high risk. So a star, as I said, is basically WebAssembly smart contracts, which is what Polkadot is built on, and EVM, which is Ethereum smart contracts, or Ethereum dApps. All right. So A Star is already building quite a big ecosystem. They've already got a number of big partnerships or big businesses building within the ecosystem, such as API 3, Anchor, Covalent, Chainlink, obviously, and the backers. Wowzer. The backers are insane, okay? So they have got Binance Labs, Fenbushi, Huobi, OKX, AU21, and if we... No. I don't think that I... Oh, yes, no, I did. They have also got Alameda, Polychain, Coinbase Ventures, Crypto.com. So they have got amazing backers. Arguably as impressive as Moonbeam. So with having that kind of backing, that gives greater potential that this will grow over cycles rather than just be around for one cycle. dApps are very susceptible to one cycle because dApps are in for a particular narrative, but infrastructures tend to be in for multiple narratives. Look, we've got Holochain and we have got Zilliqa that have been around since 2017 and they are still there. They still have great volume, even though no one talks about them. And that just shows you that even if nobody talks about you, if you're a layer one, you can survive multi-cycle as long as you are building an ecosystem. As you can see, they've got layer one blockchains, infrastructures, wallets, exchanges, NFTs, DeFi. They have got a big ecosystem in the making. So that could do very well over the long term. So that was your third cryptocurrency. The fourth cryptocurrency is Mina. Mina has gone down 90% from its all-time high. Its all-time high was near $10, $9.91. So from all-time high, 90.1% down from its all-time high. Now, this was a 25-cent IDO, I believe, either 15 cent or 25 cent. So I am looking to buy this at least at around about 2x IDO price. So from 50 cents downwards. Now, should a death cross happen for Ethereum, which there's plenty of time for damage to be done to Ethereum, then over the course of time, as gains get rinsed out and Ethereum gets taken to a bottom, then Mina could go down to its IDO price. You never know. And if it does, that represents the best opportunity to get into it. Because Mina is special. Mina, unlike other blockchains, has got a branding speciality. It is new in terms of what it's trying to achieve. Essentially, it is the smallest blockchain in history. It's essentially turned the computers of the 1990s into a MacBook Air. All right, so essentially reduced humongous blockchains into the size of a tweet. That's what makes it special. Now, it has, on the downside, got a very, very low transaction per second metric, which is 22, which is terrible. It is roughly the same, if not slightly slower than Ethereum. However, that's why you buy into it whilst it's still in development. Like when you bought into Cardano at 2 to 3 cents. You buy it whilst it's still in development because that is before it launches, before it builds an ecosystem, before you see fantastic scalability, before they actually scale it up, before they've got NFTs and all that stuff on the ecosystem. That is when you invest. But I think it's going to be time to invest in Mina. Now, Mina has got a 92 million foundation to accelerate projects growing on Mina. Okay, so essentially a 92 million fund, and this was led by FTX Ventures that gets involved in hardly anything. Alameda is really FTX's investment arm. You never really see FTX Ventures actually getting involved in a cryptocurrency. So when they do, it means there's something big. So obviously, FTX Ventures and 3 Arrows Capital, which are 2 tier 1. In fact, I would put FTX Ventures virtually premier tier. Maybe not quite yet. It's not quite up there with Binance and Coinbase, but it's getting there. It's growing exponentially, and it will get there. So they are behind helping Mina grow, meaning that they are going to probably help to onboard some of the Mina projects that build on Mina, onboarding it on FTX, which therefore means that the Mina ecosystem and the Mina's value as an ecosystem grows exponentially. Now, I just want to share this with you. Hopefully you will hear it okay. But Charles Hoskinson, obviously the founder of Cardano, actually mentioned Mina. Now, hopefully you can hear this.
You know, there's some other things that are interesting, not from a distribution viewpoint, but interesting just because it's a new class of technology. You don't see that very often. So things like Mina and Cello.
So there we are. So what Charles Hoskinson essentially said was that this is a new type of blockchain that he's never kind of seen before, like a new class of layer 1 blockchain. And he specifically said Mina. Now, Charles Hoskinson is, essentially he runs a competitor to Mina. And so for him to mention it means that he obviously sees that it has something special about it. And that branding, I think, is what's going to be on the side of Mina over the course of time, because it has something that no other blockchain has. Essentially, it's a bite-sized blockchain, but with tremendous capabilities, hopefully, in the future. So Mina, I would hope to get much, much lower. Now, the last one I'm going to share with you is Cardano. Now, Cardano is a very, very interesting layer 1 cryptocurrency. Why? Because it's a proof of work cryptocurrency. So a lot of the layer 1s out there at the moment are proof of stake. That means that really it's run by people staking their tokens on the network, right? That means that it's much greener, essentially. Proof of work cryptocurrencies are clunkier, they're harder, they require mining. So Cardano is a mining layer 1. So it's basically like Bitcoin and like Ethereum presently. So it's proof of work. However, what is normally the disadvantage of a proof of work cryptocurrency is its speed, right? So basically, if Bitcoin is like 2 to 5 transactions per second, Ethereum is 15 to 40 transactions per second, but Cardano is 480,000 transactions per second, which is the complete antithesis of what a proof of work consensus algorithm can normally achieve. So that shows you that this is very interesting. Like Mina, it's got very interesting kind of features about it and qualities about it. There's proof of work, so therefore it's got the security of a mining network. However, it's got incredible transaction speed, and how they do it is essentially through sharding. So they have got 20 braided chains, which is essentially 20 sharded chains, where essentially they offload a lot of the transactions onto these chains so they settle the transactions, and therefore allows their incredible throughput. Now, the 480,000 is a theoretical limit, apparently. So it's not actually something that's happening right now, but that is the theoretical ceiling of transactions per second of Cardano. Now, they, as well as an ecosystem, are growing. So they have got numerous amounts of projects. So they have got some of the great and the good exchanges like OKX, Bitcoin, Bittrex, and KuCoin, Crypto.com as a wallet, Clover Finance, you may have heard of, Ledger, and then they've got these two natively Cardano projects, which is Cardano Swap and Cadex. They've got UFO, and a UFO has got potential to be almost like the Cardano maybe of the metaverse. If Decentraland is the Bitcoin and Everdome is the potential Ethereum, then this is a potential Cardano of the metaverse. Cosmos, Luna, Polkadot, Cello, Kuro, KD Launch is going to be a Cardano-based launchpad. Flux, Pact, which is their best smart contract language. So that's another thing that makes Cardano likely to be an ecosystem that is used, is because of the smart contract language, which is Pact, which is essentially meant to be the safest smart contract language, one of the most powerful and human readable. So essentially, this is going to allow for easy ports of dApps on other blockchains to be able to come over to Cadena because of Pact, because it's simplified smart contracting language. And that should allow for easy porting of dApps on other ecosystems. And there are tons of other ones, including Binance and OKCoin, on its ecosystem, but it's only growing. Now, why I have a bit of an issue with Cadena is simply because of the supply, okay, because of the inflation rate. So essentially 70% of its supply is going to go to miners, okay? So that to me means there's going to be quite a lot released over the course of time. Now, another thing that I like about Cadena is the gas fees, okay? So if you're looking for economy, and this is another funny thing about being proof of work, is that proof of work typically means you pay high gas fees, okay? So with Ethereum, because it's miner-led, essentially if you want to pay for something on the Ethereum network, you have to incentivize the miner to put through your transaction. And that is why gas fees are so high. So because there are miners on the Cadena network, you would think gas would be a problem, as it is on Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, it's not. Now, gas fees essentially meant to be zero, if not very, very low cost. And what Cadena does for its projects is it allows for gas stations. So these gas stations are paid for essentially by the projects so that any partners using the project, so a project that builds on Cadena pays for the gas station, and any projects that build on that network that has used Cadena doesn't have to pay anything because that project has covered it via the gas station. So it takes down transaction costs. So therefore, Cadena has got very, very interesting qualities about it. So this has gone down, again, dramatically from its all-time high, which was near $30. So this has gone down 92%, representing a good entry point. Again, I would be looking to get this well under $1, which I think could happen. If we look at the latest lows, which you can't really look at on here anymore, it went down to $1.61. We've got 2 years till the next halving. This could go down to 80 cents. Who knows? And that would be one that I would buy. But again, the ecosystem is growing. So Cadena is very, very interesting and could be good in the short term. Now, for you being here, I'm going to get to your chats in just a second. But bonus one is this one, Velas. Okay, so Velas is well into the low caps. Okay, so it's kind of nearly equidistant between being a micro cap and a mid cap. So it's right into the low caps. Now, this has got quite a lot less volume. This has gone up to about 55 cents, I believe, if I think back. 57 cents, so it's 88% retraced. Now, what I like about Velas is that they are aggressive with their marketing. So they have recently partnered up with Ferrari. So if you watch Formula One, which has very recently become one of the biggest sports in the world, and that is because of Drive to Survive on Netflix, then they have essentially potentially backed the winning constructors this year. So it's going to be between, in my opinion, Ferrari and Red Bull. And Velas sponsor Ferrari. So if you are tailing a Ferrari in Formula One, you will see Velas, essentially. So the drivers are seeing Velas. The many, many billions of people watching Formula One are also seeing Velas because it's right on the back of a Ferrari. So it's getting that brand knowledge out there. Now, over the course of time, Velas is going to definitely be on some bigger exchanges in the future. They're growing their ecosystem. They're looking to penetrate into metaverse, NFTs, and DeFi right now. Okay, now there have already been some good projects launching via Velas. So if you don't know what Velas is essentially a fork of Solana. All right, so it's got very high transaction throughput, very quick finality, and next to no cost as far as fees is concerned. Okay, so it is EVM compatible. Once again, it can port any Ethereum dApp over to Velas, therefore meaning that it's much faster. And therefore opens the technology out to being a lot faster for its users. Plus, it is where are the metrics? It's already on some good exchanges: Uniswap, PancakeSwap, KuCoin. I think it's on Gate as well. Yep. And but it's still hardly known. Okay, it's still hardly known. It's not on Binance. It's not on Coinbase, and it's only on a variety of tier 1 exchanges. You know, it's not on OKX and all that kind of thing. So there is still so much that is left to be unlocked with Velas, and like I said, very low cost transactions, very high throughput, as you can see, is a fork of Solana. So this is something that in its own right is building a brand, and I think over the course of time is going to do well. It's much riskier than a Star, Cadena, Moonbeam, Decentraland, and the other layer 1 blockchains that inhabit the top 100. However, if you're looking for a layer 1 with scalability, with layer 2 properties, with high transaction throughput, with low cost transactions, this could be a good banker for the future. If you've got more of a risky portfolio, this could be a good one to add, because I think over the course of time it is going to grow. And they have got a 100 million grants program. So they are actually supporting projects building on Velas for essentially for Web 3.0. So there we are. So that's your bonus one. So now I am going to take some questions. And I saw over the course of the stream that I did have some super chats. So let me get to those first, as I don't want to... Let me say hi to some people. So hi Sando, Road, Lindsay, Patrick, Jamie, Michael, Dijan, USA Local, SEO, Daniel, Glinbert, Oh My Cricks, Pete, Ali, Bitcoin, Sebastian, Sharla. Wow, it's been ages since I've seen you, Sebastian. Can a Startup, George, Angie, good to see you, Angie. Blaine Watkins, good to see you. Gareth, Julian, great to see old Suppo here, love it. JF, let me have a look. So Mbata Virus, Suppo, what are your thoughts on Pika Starter MLS? The next Axie, I doubt it. All right, there have been so many cryptocurrencies that have launched in play to earn that I would put higher up than something I've never heard of. But let me have a look. Pika, let's have a look at this. 1 million volume. That's probably not terrible. There's no metrics here at all. How long has this been out? Is it out? It's only been out a week, essentially. It's only been out a week, and it's already kind of lost. Let's have a look and see its historical data. Yeah, it's already losing its hype. 3 million, 5 million, 3 million now down. And this is despite the market going up. This has gone down 17%. So I haven't looked at it. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's behind it. But I can tell you that there are a ton of there are a ton of play to earn now. Ton of them. You know? So it'd be difficult. You know, Axie has fallen a lot. And I have no idea. I think the only reason it's kind of being kept alive is because it's kind of seen as the Bitcoin of play to earn. But where's that sound coming from? Pikachu. It looks like it's using licensed characters, because that's obviously... I've forgotten the name of this thing. I did used to play Pokemon, so you can still hear me, can't you? Now I've turned down the thingy-majiggy. You should still hear me, right? Yes, you can hear me. Fine. Don't know why I worried there. That was a noob question. Breeding, yeah. I mean, they look pretty cool, actually, the characters. Jigglypuff, is that what it's called? This thing, Jigglypuff? That's what it looks like. It looks like, I don't know if it's like licensed characters. Partners Qcoin, that's actually not bad. Is it already listed on Qcoin? If it is, then it's pretty much lost its whole... Yeah, it's already listed on Qcoin. So it's already lost basically the only thing that kept it up. So if you're invested in by a tier 1 exchange, like Qcoin, Gate, OKX, FTX, if they are somebody who backed you and they have not yet listed you, then there's potential for a rise there. But yeah, but they've already kind of prematurely ejaculated by the looks of it. So I don't know. There's lots of these. There's lots. And what chain is it on? Oh, it's on Qcoin chain. Oh, it's actually on Qcoin's chain. Okay, that's not that as bad. You kind of need a differentiator if you want to actually make it. You have to be you have to have a differentiator. But I don't see it doing that well over the long term. But thank you very much for the contribution. Is Hex one of the best cryptocurrencies, and are you staked for the long term? Hex is definitely one of the most cultish followings in cryptocurrency. So you've got Bitcoin maximalists, you've got the Ethereum maximalists as well, and you've got the XRP cult, then you've got the Cardano cult, and then you've got the Hex cult. It's like one of 5 cults in cryptocurrency. You've also got a degen cult, but that's kind of not really, that's like NFTs. So it's not really for a particular coin in itself, but the Hex cult's huge. The Hex cult's massive. There is a bit of a disparity though. Like if you think about it, like this is a 13 billion market cap, which puts it theoretically, it puts it position 10, right? However, it's got volume of 15 million, all right, which shows you that it does not have top 10 volume. Okay, so where was I? Let's just go back to that. So top 10 volume is in the billions. Okay, so this isn't necessarily billions, 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 multiple billions, multiple billions, multiple billions, and Hex is like 100x down on that. Hex is 100x down. So it's majorly hyped, got a huge cult, mainly the Richard Hart cult. Hex really went up because of Pulse Chain, and it's gone down because of Pulse Chain. Okay, so when it had its recent high, it recently just got destroyed because Richard Hart says that Pulse Chain is not coming in May. He said it was coming mid-May, it didn't. It's unlikely probably to be June, which is a year after the sacrifice stage. So I remember I was here a year ago telling you about the sacrifice stage, and because it's constant delays, who knows when it's going to come out? It could be February next year. You don't know. There's a lot. I think there's a few problems to be sorted on the Pulse Chain network. He's obviously expanded upon his development team to bring, to make it up to standard. But I think it gained because of Pulse Chain. It's lost because of Pulse Chain. It gained because of Pulse Chain. Because you could sacrifice it to get into Pulse Chain, and lots of people bought it up to sacrifice to get into Pulse Chain. They also bought it up to get into Pulse X at the end of end of last year. And I think it went up because people were expecting for Pulse Chain to come out in May. But then when it got delayed again, it basically got dumped down to 3 cents, was it? I think it was 5 cents anyway. So, so is it one of the best cryptocurrencies? In my opinion, it's not one of the best cryptocurrencies, no. But is it going to be around for a while? Yes, because essentially Pulse Chain is going to come out and it's going to be kind of the new exciting layer 1. Pulse X is going to come out, and you've basically got a portfolio of 3 tools created by Richard Hart. If Pulse Chain does well and Pulse X does well, Hex will also do well because it's like the Richard Hart collective of cryptocurrencies. But I still hold my Pulse Chain. I sold a lot of the Pulse Chain that I bought at 0.003 cents back in, I think it was roughly April, May last year. But I unstaked it and sold it. But I've still got some. Yeah. Let's have a look. Are there any more? There are not any more super chats, which is surprising, but there we are. So let's have a look and see if there are any questions to be answered here. Keep likes coming. Only 185 likes. Come on, people. So basically, all you need to do is just where you've got my face right here. I don't know how well you can see that, but whatever the case, just smash that likey. Smash that like. Probably should have left the bonus coin till a like thing was achieved. Actually, having said that, do you remember in the last video, I said that I would release that coin that is going to be capable of 1,000,000 TPS. I could do that now, couldn't I? If we get up to 305 likes, I would do that. Okay, so just to remind you, let's go back to Twitter. I don't want to be on here for too long. I don't want to be don't want to be on here for too long. Where was it? Easy now, but buy now, blah, blah, blah. Here we are. If there are blockchains soon to come out that is capable of 900,000 transactions per second to 1.5 million with 2.2 finality, how interested would you be in it? So if we get up to 305, I will definitely release the name. I won't say any more about it, but I will release the name so you can join the community early because it's not yet out. Super, why do you never talk about better hotels? No point. Everything has been trashed. The things to talk about, I mean, people will likely say that, the best coins right now are the ones that have gone down so much, like the ones in the play to earn area. But at this point, it's too much of a risk. The market is being mullered, and now, low cap cryptocurrencies are going to be difficult to moon. But if I look into BitHotel is going to be releasing their beta soon. Beta, whatever you call it. I call it beta. I think Americans call it beta. But they're going to be launching their actual hotel soon, like their actual metaverse. So you'll be able to see whatever rooms you bought for real. So yeah, so it's coming out, but at the moment it's, right now it's a very bad time, really. What he's talking about is ZK Sync. No, it's not. Pulse will do better than Pulse X. Yes, that's true. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Pulse Chain is a layer 1 ultimately, and Pulse X is a DEX. So it's a little bit like, does PancakeSwap do better than Binance Smart Chain? No. Does Uniswap do better than Ethereum? No. Does Trader Joe do better than Avalanche? No. Right, it's just DEX. Right, it's not going to do as well, but it still can do well if you were looking at like Richard Hart's small portfolio of projects he's built. What do you think of SHIB? Yeah, I like SHIB. Still own SHIB, and SHIB I think is a good cryptocurrency to have. I think it's like if you were looking for a kind of, if you had like a diversified portfolio for lower risk cryptocurrencies, then ApeCoin and SHIB are probably the better ones. Obviously, Doge would be more blue chip than that, but ApeCoin I think has more potential over the long term. What happened to Convergence? Like with most micro caps, absolutely getting mullered right now. And who knows? They may have been good for one cycle, or they may stay around. Now, the thing that stands in good stead for Convergence versus other coins that may be deemed as shit coins is that Convergence has got fantastic backing from top tier VCs, so it can last for a while, and it's on Moonbeam. Okay, so Moonbeam have got a few cryptos in its ecosystem. They've got Solar Beam, Stellar Swap, a Beam Swap, and Convergence, which are the dexes for Moonbeam, and Convergence is already a bit further on than Solar Beam and some of the others because it's also Ethereum. It's also Ethereum as well, so it's Ethereum. It's essentially kind of Uniswap if you think about it. Like Convergence is basically Uniswap, but they do not have a exchange name. Convergence is not a name that you think about when you think of an exchange. You think of Convergence, you probably think of, I don't know what you think of, graphs maybe when you look at convergences and divergences. But Convergence is not a good brand name for a DEX. It's not really a good brand name either for a security DEX. So it's not, or any kind of DEX, like a synthetics or whatever. So I'll answer two more questions. Suppo, thoughts on A0? That's a good question, actually, because I have been looking into Aleph0, is it? So it is something I'm looking at. It's not. It's just outside of being a micro cap, 77 million. But it's not got great volume. Like if you think of it, it's like 35 to 1 volume. No, like 45 to 1 volume, which is pretty piss poor in my opinion. However, it has maintained relative stability. Like over the course of the last over the course of the last month, it has pretty much maintained. It hasn't gone down hugely since the beginning of last month, considering the lunar crash. It's pretty much maintained just above $1. So yeah, it's done quite well. I think the reason for its doing well is because it's very new. So as a result of that, it hasn't had that period. It's not had that period where lots of people have been allowed to get in over a long space of time and therefore are taking their money out. It's only recently come out. It's probably got a lot of vested tokens yet to be unlocked, and as a result, people are just hodling. So it's probably maintaining rather than growing or decreasing. So it's not got great volume. It's not very. People aren't very bullish on it. However, it's very new and it is a layer 1 for what I understand as well. Is it hybrid? I've heard, but I haven't properly looked into this. So privacy in public, Byzantine fault tolerance, which is a good consensus algorithm, if I'm honest with you. It's also got zero knowledge proofs, which is just like Mina. And does it have the investors on here as well? I don't think it had the best of investors, but I don't think it had the worst either. So Master Ventures, MXC, which is an exchange. It's kind of the best of investors. It's not, it's not the same league as, a Star. Okay, so if you look at a Star, this one's probably a better one. Alameda, Binance Labs, Polychain, Coinbase Ventures. Like these three are premier tier, and this is one of the hottest higher tiers. And OKX is a hot tier 1. If you look at that in comparison to Aleph Zero, it's nothing of that ilk. But you never know. Over the course of time, like Saito, it could have its time. K-Bon, thank you very much for the contribution. How many X will PLS do in 5 years? Your prediction? Could be incredible, but at the same time, it's Pulse Chain. It's difficult to do any prediction on Pulse Chain until I know the token metrics, and I don't know them at this present time. I don't know if they're known, but obviously it had billions of dollars. It had billions of dollars sacrificed, which means it's going to mint trillions of supply. Which, based on the price that sacrifices would need to break even, would put it in around about the top 10 cryptocurrencies. So could it 500,000x from there? No, it cannot. Right? So, but as it deflates over time, so as the supply gets burnt over time, because it will get burnt, because essentially it's a gas currency, and as it is utilized across Pulse Chain and it's utilized across DeFi and yield farming and all of that, you're going to burn Pulse Chain over the course of time. So it deflates. It's a deflationary supply, as opposed to everything else on the market, which is pretty much an inflationary supply. It basically starts off being the US right now, like with so much in circulation, and it burns it over time to control the actual, the actual purchasing power. So therefore, as a result, I imagine that as it deflates over 5 years, then it will have some good value. ImpulseX partnership with Binance NFT. Yes, there is a partnership with ImpulseX, but like I said, if you're a micro cap, which a lot of cryptocurrencies are at this present time, that were on the rise. If you're a micro cap right now, you're getting absolutely slaughtered. So absolutely nothing really matters. But but ImpulseX recently had an event in Los Angeles, and they put this teaser trailer out, and they've got a potential partnership with Binance NFT. They've obviously got an NFT series that's going to be coming out, so I imagine that bodes well for the project. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. But thank you very much for the contribution. Right, I think that is it. I think I shall make a move ASAP. So, what I will say is essentially thank you all for turning up today. Hope that you enjoyed the coins and the rationale behind them. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to look at other cryptocurrencies, potentially analyze them for long-term gains. And until next time, I love you all, and you have been awesome, and I've been the Suppoman. It is lights out, all out.